International and politics. Is that the one you guys want?
Yes. Hardware. Economics. Hardware.
Okay, two more groups. International politics / economics and hardware will be the other group.
Scrap trolls.
Do you want to scrap trolls and put hardware instead?
Yeah.
Scrap trolls. Trolls is out. Hardware is in.
But trolls will live on. It's weird.
Okay, so edu, who's the edu person? That's Vanessa. P2P is over here. Drumbeat is with Ben. Video is with Ann. Collaborative content is with Michelle. International economics politics is with who? Dave. And hardware is back with Sam. Okay, so what are we doing?
We're doing the following. We are taking half an hour to come up with one big idea or concrete project. And you're going to pitch us. Okay? So someone in the group should take notes, and someone in the group should agree to present. We're going to ask each of these 7 groups to give us one concrete project or big idea.
Okay, so you can go to the website, you can find a group of people who have similar interests with you, and they're studying some topic, and you can join them.
Or it's
P2PU.org.
It exists.
It exists, yes. It's actually been around for a couple of years now. And so you can come up with a topic that you want to teach, or you can join somebody who's already doing something. Yeah, it's P2PU. And we have a project with Mozilla Drumbeat already called the School of Webcraft, which is specifically focused on teaching web skills to people for free. Open web skills particularly. So we don't do things like Flash or like Silverlight or any kind of Microsoft, any closed source technology. It's always open source. So that's the gist of P2PU. And the goal of today's discussion is to come up with a big idea or an actionable project that you can propose to the Drumbeat ecosystem where we can actually do things. So, with that, if you guys have ideas about what you're going to talk about, we can talk about anything.
There was one idea that I had that I brought up when we were sitting down with
Thanks. Those are our notes. Here are our notes.
when I was sitting down along with the IA people, to do the transcripts, but it's the combination of the learning aspect of PU, like teaching. For instance, web collaborative, I forgot the name of the courses now.
Mashing up the open web?
Mashing up the open web. A combination of after you learn that, putting it into actual practice. So I was thinking of maybe some kind of module or another program where, after you learn that, it's like, okay, we're going to take you to these projects that actually need people.
That's a good idea.
And, it just kind of opened up to a bunch of things, like Sam, who's doing the hardware stuff. Maybe you teach a course of how to build a specific hardware and how to program in it, and then take you to a page where it's like people looking for people to help them with that.
Okay.
Or, and another one was for specific web APIs or frameworks, courses that teach you that, and then you can go to the actual open source web page where they're looking for people who
So
actually
like a connector
know
that takes you from learning to doing?
Exactly. Because as much as learning is a great thing, and it's good to know, being able to translate the learning and knowledge aspect into creating something and helping is the biggest barrier to trust. Like, you can know a million things in the world, if you don't actually put it into practice, it's almost useless.
Yeah.
Just to add on to that, I think that creating something is a really good form of alternative assessment, right? I mean, or alternative, it shows what you know, right? So using that somehow.
That's right.
Figure this way to spread it around.
But I mean, I get that. I got that idea from okay. So let's say you want to be part of an open source project. For instance, Firefox. I know a little bit about coding and I want to jump into Firefox, but at the same time, it is an entire project. You have to learn the coding methodology, the API codes. You need to learn all that. So to have a course that's teaching that to you specifically, and then when you have that knowledge, you can jump in and actually help in the project because you already have that with you.
So how would a specific project get their stuff into this? So would it be we're a group of people that have these courses and we have specific things that we want people to do, so we make courses about them, or is it the other way around where, like, say Mozilla needs more developers, they come to P2PU and say, hey, we're Mozilla, here's a whole bunch of curriculum, run a course about us so we can get more developers. Like, which way does it work? Is it outside in or? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interactive possible.
Okay.
I think, like the Mozilla going to you guys, like here, we would like the course which we moved up is probably more provides the better utility because it's them teaching specific stuff for very specific things, and so there's a very direct collaboration with those two things. Like we're developing a new module in Firefox, and we're gonna have a lot of bugs, and we want to like grow the number of people that can possibly work on that. So we're gonna teach them this specific thing, and then when we jump into the project, you can actually help us.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where you're crowdsourcing, but since you need specific knowledge for that particular project, you teach it to a larger group of people, and hence you increase the number of people who can work on the project.
And it doesn't have to be just technology either.
No, it could be a bunch of things.
Yeah. So
I'm just trying to get a clear idea of this suggestion. It's say a Linux or just any open source project, a course based around the open source project itself. Is that the concept?
I think the idea is there are projects out there that need people to help, but there's a barrier to entry. Like you can't help with a project unless you know how to do some minimum amount of stuff. Right? So you can even say like what's the one where they build houses for people? Habitat for Humanity. So there are tons of people who would love to help Habitat for Humanity, but they don't have carpentry skills, right? So you need to have carpentry skills to help build houses. So you could have a course at P2PU that teaches you carpentry skills. Maybe it would even happen in real life in your neighborhood, right? But it teaches you these basic carpentry skills so you can do some of the like lower end jobs, and then you learn them, and then you go to Habitat for Humanity and help out.
To really give the open source projects the skills to create a course?
Yeah, I think that sounds right.
So we need a P2PU course to make P2PU courses?
Is that I don't know if that's necessarily. I think we need to create a pathway, like a pathway for projects to create stuff.
I noticed there was already kind of like an intro on the wiki.
Yeah, there's a course about like how to facilitate online, how to do that stuff. But I think this isn't the same. It's kind of like a part of P2PU that is accepting outside people to do to create projects. So like a place for people like Habitat for Humanity or Firefox or I don't know, even something in New York City. Like, have you ever heard of like bike rescues? So like bicycle rescues, like there are a lot of like community-driven like bike rescue things where they take the old bikes, they fix them up, and they sell them really cheap, give them to like neighborhood kids and stuff like that. And there could be something about like maybe there's a national bike rescue organization or something like that. They could organize courses on how to start your own bike rescue. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a layer for people who are doing like global projects to reach people who otherwise wouldn't understand how to make things happen. I mean, that's what I do.
Any other concepts you might want to attack from?
Yeah, I haven't checked out P2P at all, but I really like this idea of kind of online, or the other education, i.e. get like a kind of a standardized all the courses taken and kind of portfolio.
Yeah, like a CV of what you've done.
A CV of what you've done, and possibly incorporate with this, where once you start doing a project, it like takes everything you've done and kind of displays that nice, where like, oh, you committed to you did this on this project, and it displays on
That's actually how I got it.
Yeah, you were talking about how the integration with P2PU can work out really well. I mean, I remember one guy was talking to you and he said about, okay, what's the incentive for both taking the course and
organizing.
Organizing.
Like, let's say if you were taking a music course on P2P, like maybe you guys have like an introduction.
We had music theory. We had
Exactly, music theory course, and then you take an open hardware design course.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's a system where it looks at these things and it sees like these two matches and it goes, hey, there's a Sam's project.
Okay. So maybe I like a directory of like projects that you can work on after you complete a particular course.
Or to take it even more further, but kind of like, you know how Amazon gives you recommendations from all the books, like you buy a whole bunch of books, and the recommendations are like, well, he likes these books. These are some books that we think he's really gonna like as well. Well, he's learned all these courses. Here's projects where we think he can be very useful with.
That's actually a really cool idea. And they don't have to be open source projects. They can be any kind of project.
Exactly.
Like programming and music, and there's an open source music software.
What would you call something like this? Like
P2P.
P2P, like.
Well, it's really like knowledge. It's like
placement. P2P placement.
It's like individual.
You might not necessarily get paid. I mean, you could get
project placement or something.
Yeah, P2P projects. Like, huh? Careers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it
That's
may
a
even
general
like
idea.
extend into something where you can get it. Like if a business decides to get into it and look for people.
I was thinking about that actually. So one of the things we've had a few ideas like charging people money to enter into a course, right? We don't want to do that, but we thought, hey, what if we charged only $10, and the $10 was your promise to finish the course, and if you finish, we give you the $10 back. If you don't finish, we keep it as a donation.
That works really well, I think.
So I bet maybe this is another sustainability model where we say like, okay, nonprofits can list their projects according to like P2P courses. So say I'm Habitat for Humanity and there's a project going on about carpentry, a class going on about carpentry. I can list Habitat for Humanity as like a next step after the course, right? I can list it there. But if I'm like Google, for example, and I want to get programmers and I go to the webcraft classes, I can pay money. Put my list in.
Yeah.
And then they'll see it.
And what's so great about this?
For profit.
Yeah. And what's so great about this is that if you combine the knowledge with like the work that you actually do, from somebody who's seeking individuals, not only do you have like this list of stuff he knows, but you actually have their work that they've done for other organizations, and you can actually view that work. And
cool. So now you're able to track your like volunteer and other stuff.
It adds a sense of transparency to like looking for talented individuals, because not only do you get like a list of what they say they're good at, but you can actually see the stuff that they worked at and their work.
Actually, there is a website that does
Oh yeah, I've seen Top Coder.
It does competitions that companies need people to work on, then they get the winner or whatever.
Did you guys hear about the Netflix competition?
With the one with the recommendations?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
So they made public, I don't know if they canceled it or not, they made a whole bunch of data public about people's music. But they like hit the people, right? And they said, whoever writes the best algorithm for recommending movies to these people, we'll give you $1 million, or we'll give you a job or something. And they had a whole bunch of people in the world like working on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of. They gave somebody. They gave $1 million. Yeah.
I remember reading that. What wound up happening was that, and participants will wait until the very last second to submit their stuff, because it was like the difference of like half a second to a second of finding the best results for the person and then submitting it to them. So they would wait till like the very last moments before to send in their stuff to send it in, because they're like, oh, we're gonna wait till last second because we know that we're probably gonna be the best one, because it will automatically update who was the best person, as opposed to getting all the entries in and then observing it from there. But I think there was a point where it was in jeopardy of being stopped, because there's some law specifically for looking at people, looking at people's
without, even if it was didn't have
yeah.
Do we want to?
What brings you out?